Welcome to Koffee Talks with Dan Norton and David Person.
Hello everyone, welcome back. Welcome to sort of Koffee Talks. Not, as the intro said, with Dan Norton and Dave Person, but today with Dan Norton and Law Norton. David basically has damaged his voice and his jaw through, I think, just talking for an hour every day, and he's had some dentist visits and stuff lately, so he's having to have a couple of days off just to kind of recover, but we didn't want to break the streak, so Law's going to do a couple of days video with me. So, Law, you had an idea for a topic. Why don't you introduce it?
Yeah, so I wanted to just talk about kind of the differences in how we set up our binders and the different ways that you might go about kind of putting your collection together.
Cool. So, do you want to talk about how you set yours up first?
Okay, I can. So what I like to do, it's going to sound kind of chaotic, but I like to go from sort of the most exciting and foily to the least exciting. So the easiest version of this is if you have a reverse foil and a regular, the reverse goes first.
You should clarify you still go by number order.
Yes, I do still go by number order. Sorry.
The way you're saying it, it sounds like you're putting, like, Special Illustration Rares first or something.
No, it's not quite that chaotic.
No, so yours are still by number order. A lot of your older sets have the variants in at the right number spot as well.
Yes.
Recent ones don't, just because of how many variants they keep releasing over and over for a long time after sets come out, so it's been easier just to put the set binder together.
Yes. And it really only gets complicated if there's like a Cosmo holo and a like water web holo of the same card, because then I have to pick out which one I want to go before, but it's kind of irrelevant as long as the reverse foil starts and the regular or the non-foil is last.
It also gets confusing whenever you have to put your own binder together, because it's not always to every card, because there's EXs and stuff, so you almost always make a mistake. And nearly every one of your binders, I think from the Scarlet Violet era and a lot of the Sword and Shield era, will just have a couple of random cards at the end where you didn't put them in the right place.
Look, I can't count. It's fine.
So what I do is I have one binder. I do the regular set first, just number 1 to whatever the last number is. Then I do the reverse set. For a lot of recent sets, that's meant the reverse set goes in a separate binder, because I use the 360 binders, the 9 pocket ones rather than 12 pocket ones. And then I do all variants, and variants are just in number order, and then if there's multiple variants of the same card, they are in release order, basically. The benefit of doing it my way is I know if I've missed a card within a few spots, because I know that the bottom corner is always going to be a multiple of 9. So if I ever get the bottom corner of a page and it's not, I know that something's gone wrong. The worst part for mine is it means I need an extra copy of every EX and A spec and stuff for my reverse set, or I would just be leaving gaps. But in recent years, that hasn't been too bad. Like, it's kind of rough for some older sets where it's like black and white and stuff, where the EXs were big pulls, so some of the EXs alone are like $20, $30 cards. I mean, even when they were coming out, there was a lot that were that expensive, because there was just EXs and the occasional full art.
Mewtwo, Darkrai.
Yeah. But now, regular EXs, it's very, very rare they get more than $5. A regular EX. So, and the amount that we open to get all of our stuff, we normally end up with 3 of every EX anyway. And the ones that we don't, it's very, very cheap to finish those out. So, that's why I like it my way. The only time I think yours looks better than mine is with base set, because for base set, Law has a 12 pocket binder, so 4 columns, and does first edition Shadowless Unlimited base 2000, and then at the back does all of the extras completely separate.
I made the concession on that set to put all of the variants and kind of weird stuff at the back of the set.
Yeah. I mean, you're having to make that concession on some recent sets too, because they just won't fit in a binder if you put all the variants in it.
That's true.
Fusion Strike doesn't fit in a 480 binder anyway, I don't think. Fusion Strike is huge.
I mean, and it's got how many prize pack cards and...
Like, even without that, but even just the stuff that comes from the booster packs, Fusion Strike will not fit in a binder. In a 480 binder. Because it is a huge set. I know for Sun and Moon era, I did use some binders where it was just like, these are your variant binders, and I did that by set. And the goal always was, if we get all of the variants for a set for you, you can then go back and add them in. But I just didn't want us to be moving your binders like every 2 or 3 weeks.
Right, because you never know when they're going to come out with a new random promo.
Yeah, I mean, Flashfire literally had one 7 years after the set came out. That Build-A-Bear Snorlax from Flashfire was seven years after the Flashfire set came out.
That's probably why they stopped doing those Build-A-Bear promos.
Is it?
I would guess. Just hard to keep up with what Pokemon have what cards.
The weird thing is that Snorlax from Flashfire, there was not only a more recent Snorlax, there was a more recent Snorlax with the same art. When that Build-A-Bear one came out.
I hadn't clocked that.
Yeah. There were definitely other options for that Snorlax. Alright, anything else you want to talk about today, or are we just making this a very, very quick one because... Well, actually, what are we doing tomorrow? Tell people what we're doing tomorrow.
I don't remember what we're doing tomorrow.
We're going to play a pre-release for the new Dragons of Tarkia set.
Oh, yeah.
Tarkia Dragonstorm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we'll maybe talk about that tomorrow after
we've done it.
we've done it.
Yeah, we're going to play a two-headed giant pre-release because Law likes dragons. So that's the new Magic set that's coming out. A little bit of Magic talk on Koffee Talks.
I mean,
Laws here because that's what we're doing this weekend.
You never talk about coffee, so...
That is true.
There's no rules.
No. There's a lot of very cool stuff in the Dragonstorm set. Dragonstorm set is a set we might actually binder up and collect, which we'd never normally do for Magic. Lord just normally keeps the dragons and all the variants of the dragons, and I would just keep 4 of the most basic version of the card as a playset. But Dragonstorm has a lot of cool stuff in it that isn't just actual dragon cards. There's a subset of cards that have like dragons in the artwork or on the border.
There's the scale hollows.
Yeah, the 10 fetch lands come in, dragon scale hollows, which is going to be a nightmare to get. There's only one serialized card, luckily, if we want to go the full completion.
And I don't think I want that card anyway, so yeah, it's fine.
If we end up missing that one, then it's fine. So yeah, that is our plan for tomorrow. Again, sorry for these short coffee talks, sorry for one that is a little bit different than normal, but hopefully the talk of binders and stuff are interesting. Hopefully that interests you, and hopefully it answers some questions as to what Dave keeps asking about why we never combine our collections. It's because we could never agree on how to sort the binders, or whether we were picking up a lot of cards in damage condition, or save for one card in mint condition. Well, that's it. That was the short coffee talks. Thanks for watching, and we will see you tomorrow, and then myself and Dave will see you on Monday, hopefully, if he's feeling better.
Fingers crossed, because I'm just a mess. I'm sorry, guys.
Yep. Goodbye.
Bye. Thanks for listening to Koffee Talks with Dan Norton and David Person, with music by More Than Never and artwork by Lore Norton. A special thanks to all our Patreon members. Join us again next time.
But they don't want you to.